morning, everybody. It is Friday, November 14th. My name is Karen, and this is BobbleHeadKnits. So welcome, everybody. This is my knitting vlog. And today's episode is going to be very short because I only worked on 2 things all week. So let's get on with things. All right. This is the week where I kind of went backwards on my knitting a little bit. I'll show you why. Let's start with the easy thing to explain. I was working on my husband's Botanical socks. That's a pattern by Stephen West. I do have one of them. Here is the one that's done. And I last week was just getting ready to put the heel in on the second one, so I've done that. And I've started on the foot. I've had an issue though. So as you're knitting the bottom of the foot here, you can see it, you're picking up stitches along the selvage edge and you are attaching them to the foot. And I was doing that just fine, whipping along, no problem. I went on, well, this is my break knitting. This is what I knit on during my breaks at work. And yesterday I went to sit down during a break and pick this up and picked it up in a way that this whole side came undone. Do you see that? Yes, all these were attached to these stitches here. And I pulled on it a certain way and the whole thing came undone. So basically I need to rip it all back to the very first orange row to fix it. So that was my negative knitting. I guess it wasn't totally negative because I did do the heel from what you saw last week. So the heel, it's an odd construction. You do you start at the top and you go down, you knit the top of the foot, that's the top of the foot, and then you knit the heel in the bottom of the foot. This is a pattern that I actually highly recommend, if not for the issue of picking up stitches and having them fall out. So I will be repairing this and starting the heel. Well, the heel is safe, so the heel will stay, but the bottom of the foot will be started over. In case you're wondering, the yarn is Skepshe's Arcadia is the yellow, and then the multiple color, the gradient there is a Zebra ball. So, and yeah, that's where we are with that one. I had hoped to have this done by the end of next week. Questionable now, but we'll see. So I do need to fix that. So that was my break knitting. Now, I've been knitting diligently all week on my daughter-in-law's Snowbird cardigan. That's a pattern by Heidi Kirrmaier. And last week I alluded to some drama with it, and I can now share what happened. So I was knitting this, as you know, and I had knit the sleeves flat and then stitched them up, which is how the pattern calls for it. It's a cardigan, so as you start the shoulders, it actually has you start the collar first, then the shoulders, and then down. And then you knit the sleeves before you really start the body. That was fine. However, I wasn't happy with my seaming on the sleeves. And then I counted my stitches on the shoulders and all that. And I was like, this is too far off. I don't want to make it and then have it not fit her. So I thought at the very least I should take the sleeves apart and then go like tink back up and figure out the missing stitches and all that. Well, because I had hand stitched the sleeves, and there are so many raglan seams in this thing. So many, like as in two right here. But basically there was no just ripping out the sleeves. I found that I had to rip the whole thing out and start over. Yes, I did it. I'm going to be much happier with this version because one, I'm going to do the sleeves in the round. I'm not going to mess with this knit them flat and stitch them up. I don't like doing it that way. I am almost to the point, I have like maybe 6 more rows to go to start knitting the sleeves again. So I've made good progress. This is where we are right now. I'll show it to you this way so you can see. So that's the top of the sweater. There's this part is actually the back collar. It's so weird. Yes, and you have to like put it down, you have to stitch it down. Same with this side. It's on a provisional cast on. It's, yeah, I'm not ruling out I shouldn't say that. I would not have continued knitting this sweater if it were my sweater because I do not like the pattern. But she picked out this pattern, so I'm gonna go ahead and knit it. But I am gonna veer off and do my own thing as far as the sleeves this time. I fixed the stitch count. There it is. This was supposed to be a Christmas gift. It's not gonna be a Christmas gift. I just want it to get, my goal was to get back to the sleeves this weekend. So I think I'll be there after today. So that's good. So I lost a week of knitting basically, but I spent all week knitting on this and knitting on those socks. So I didn't do any other knitting. I just was like determined to get this figured out. I am sad about it, but not that sad because I just felt like I should, do my best. And so, yeah, I was happier to rip it out than to not be thrilled with it and give it to her. And yeah, so the yarn is Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Scorpio, and it's gorgeous. So yeah, it is going much faster now that I understand the pattern better. The sleeves I need to figure out, fairly easy because I've knit other sweaters. I can figure out how to pick up the stitches and just knit in the round. Not a big deal. She doesn't know. I didn't tell her that I was ripping it out. She knows that I'm making it, so, she's tried it on and off. I'm going to see if I can redo it without her even knowing that I ripped it out. We'll see. All right. I have granola in my teeth. All right, so that's it for the knitting. Hang on, I'm going to take a drink of coffee, and then that's it for all the crafty stuff. So if you're going to go away now, totally get that. If you want to follow me on social media, you can't because I'm not on social media. I am on Ravelry as BobbleHeadKnits, to think about my name there. And you can email me at bobbleheadknits@gmail.com. All right, now I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then we'll talk a little bit about life stuff. All right, actually I should say I'm going to take a sip of my foam here because it came out of the coffee cup. All right, barely got any, but that's okay. All right, life stuff. Let's talk about life. Slightly less hectic week at work. As I've discussed before, we have 4 times a year. Things go crazy in my world, and we were in the last week of this quarter's craziness. So definitely slowed down a little bit of work, so that was nice. Exhausted now, though, after a month of just working like crazy. Oh, big exciting news. The other night, I'm just sitting there talking to my family. I had Reddit open and I started seeing these pictures of people were taking of the Northern Lights. And they were like, go outside and go look up. And it was 7:30 at night here in Denver where I live. And I was like, those can't be from Denver. We never get the Northern Lights here. They were. We all ran outside. you could see the aurora borealis. It was like pretty evident early on with just the naked eye, and then as the night went on and the clouds moved in, you couldn't see as much of it, but we could see it well enough that I got some pictures and consider that item crossed off my bucket list. Yes. We live in Denver, like down very near to downtown, so a lot of light pollution. My sister, who lives further south, actually had even better lights. She has neighbors, but not the big city lights and all. So she even got better images of it. And yeah, maybe I'll put some at the end of the video, since this is such a short video, so you can see. But I mean, it was not anything huge dramatic, but it was pretty impressive still. So, all right. Oh, I was going to mention, so I had a viewer reach out to me, and hang on one second. Hold on. Sorry, my nose was running. Happens. I had a viewer reach out to me, and I'm not going to name names because she didn't say that I could, but she happened to stumble onto my vlog and was wondering why I called myself BobbleHeadKnits, and so she went back through some of my older videos, went back to my first video, that was brave of you, and then messaged me, and turns out that she also has a head tremor. So for those of you that don't know, I call myself BobbleHeadKnits because I have cervical dystonia, and when I'm not being treated for it, my head goes like that. I've had a lot of luck because I've had very good doctors who were quick to diagnose it, were able to get me on treatment. There's a couple different treatments they offer. I am personally, I'm going to tell you this in case I can help someone else, basically, but I take Botox injections in my back of my head, my neck, my shoulders, and I get them quarterly, and I get a lot of them. There's like 20 some of them, and it varies based on patient, but in my case, they have for the most part taken care of the tremor. So this reader who reached out to me also has a tremor, and she was inquiring about the Botox, and because she had talked to her doctor about it. So we had a nice email exchange, and I just thought I should let everyone know, I don't talk about it much because it doesn't affect my day-to-day life like it did when I first started vlogging. But if that's something, that you have, or you want to just discuss it, reach out. I am more than happy to talk to you about it. I'm not by any means an expert, but I know what worked for me. So yeah. I really appreciate it that this reader reached out because, it was just, I thought, a nice thing that, she shared her story with me, and I was able to share mine and give her some encouragement. So if anyone else is in that boat, so I've been lucky because the treatments have worked. In fact, I'm going next week for my latest round. And my doctor actually was just talking about switching my medication, but I said no, because why change something that works fine? So, yeah. So, yes, that was just something I wanted to share with you all. All right, TV and books. I was able to watch that first episode of The Game of Wool, that Britain's Best Knitter show. It's like Bake Off, but the Great British Bake Off, only with the yarn. It was as bad as people said. I mean, it's not realistic because no one is going to knit a chunky sweater in 12 hours, like in one sitting, and have it look great. One, if you're doing that, you risk like damaging your hands. But yeah, it's just, I don't know if I'll watch another one. I got it, it was on YouTube, and I see that the other full episodes are available. So, if I have nothing else to watch, I'll watch it. It was fine, but, you have to be realistic. You're giving people a challenge. You're forcing them to do it in a set amount of time where in a very different circumstance than many of us knit in. So, yeah, I was like, it's reality TV, but not really, because none of us would be so stupid as to spend 12 hours knitting a couch cover with 5 other people and that you don't know. Yeah, it was unrealistic. That's all I'm going to say. All right, I'm going to go. This has obviously been a very short episode. I'm going to try to get my daughter-in-law's cardigan back to where it was before it blew up. And then I'm going to try to fix that sock and get that done. Hopefully I'll have other knitting to show you next week. But as my daughter says, no promises. All right, everyone have a great week and keep on knitting. Bye.